have you ever get frustrated and couldn't find the right words to express your frustration because English is not your first language? Well, today we're gonna talk about how to say you're frustrated in English.
Wow, that's a difficult topic. Hey everybody, CrossTalk FM is an English and Japanese bilingual freestyle podcast. I'm Andrea.
Hi, I'm Tomoya.
So in your intro, you asked if people were frustrated when they can't express themselves because English isn't their first language.
Yes.
But actually, even for first language speakers, even for native speakers, of course, we get frustrated too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't always use F word to express your frustration, right?
Well, we do it first. We
Yes.
say a bad word first, and then we move on from there. But yes, we do have a little more vocabulary.
Yes. I find myself it's difficult to express frustration in English.
Sure, that's natural.
Yes, and because it's the way we taught is, it's not like express your anger, express your frustration in English. It's always like how to say this in polite way,
Sure, right.
Right?
It's more polite language and more like useful everyday phrases that you need to get
Yes.
something or get somewhere. Yeah.
So let's say that I want this coffee, or maybe you can say, oh, I'd like to have this cup of coffee, please, or
Sure.
you have to make it sounds more polite or professional.
Sure.
This is
more
how
polite.
we teach and taught.
Yes.
But in the reality, you sometimes want to express your frustration, your anger,
Sure. Yeah.
Something-
Because everyone has emotions. We all get angry or upset or
Right.
emotional about something.
Yes. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
And so the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I always said F words, and that's all. That's all I can say when I get frustrated. So,
Okay.
yeah. Andrea, what do you think?
I think that's natural. I think even as a native speaker, I tend to, when I get angry or frustrated or upset, I also will say the F word, which, is a very bad word. You're not supposed to say it in public. But as, for example, someone learning Japanese, when I get frustrated in Japanese, I have the same problem in Japanese. Like, I don't know what word to say. And I know what I'm thinking. I know what I want to say, but sometimes it doesn't come out smoothly or it doesn't come out the way I want it to come out. I can say it, but it's not as forceful as I want it to be. I want to show my anger. I want to show my frustration, but I don't know how to do that. So it's the opposite version of
Yes.
what you're explaining.
So most of the case, when I get frustrated, I tend to say like fuck, this is fuck.
We all do. We all do.
Maybe I watched a Hollywood movie too.
You probably watched American movies, or
Yeah.
Canadian movies. Canadian friends are like that too.
It's because there's a probably Hollywood movie is one of the reason, and also as we talked about this and a lack of vocabulary. So
Yes.
I have an understand question. Are there better ways to show your frustration rather than saying F words like Hollywood movies?
Sure, there probably are better ways. It's probably not always good to get angry so quickly. Now that I'm older, I'm kind of realizing I don't need to be so, I don't know what to call it. I don't need to get angry right away. I can think about it, process it, and then express my emotions in a calmer way, in a more rational way sometimes.
Right.
So that's one way when you don't know the words is calm down, think about what you need to say, think about it rationally, and then kind of compose yourself mentally, and then you can express yourself.
There's a popular book but about 10 years ago or something in Japan The title is anger.
We're all waiting.
Anger control or anger management.
Okay.
There's a many books like this, and then it's basically said, wait 6 seconds when you got tempered.
Yeah, I think there's advice in America. We sit down and count to 10. It's like wait 10 seconds. Calm down for 10 seconds and then compose yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard that advice before. It's hard to do when you're upset in the moment, though.
Right. So I found, as I say, I tend to use F words, but it's not really good sometimes, I think.
Right.
So let me explain. Let me bring up some example.
Okay.
Like how I could say better way rather than F words. So let's say I really hate it. I don't like it. This is F. This is not good. But maybe you can say, oh, this is really frustrating. I feel overwhelmed.
Okay, yeah, kind of explaining your feelings in a more normal way, I think.
Normal way. Yes.
Using normal language.
Yes. And maybe you can emphasize, the tone of your voice or something, and to express your emotion more.
Yes.
And I found a good example on the internet. This is like using analogy technique.
Okay. What is that?
Dealing with this feels like trying to run through quicksand.
Okay. Quicksand, if people don't know, does it actually exist? I think it's more like a fantasy thing, but basically it's sand. And when you step on it, it sinks. So you can't actually pass through it. You have to go around. So in this analogy, dealing with this problem, whatever the problem is, dealing with the problem is like running through quicksand. You can't make progress. You get stuck every time.
I see.
That's kind of nice, though. But I think actually making analogies is difficult unless you know what the analogy is. That might be difficult for language learners, though.
Yes. I also have another technique, like express disappointment rather than anger.
Okay.
This technique I use in Japanese often.
Do you?
Yes. And I always say when I get really frustrated in Japanese, もうどうでもいい.
Yes, I've heard you say that. Actually, I have heard you say that.
Like, in English.
Can't do anything about it.
Whatever. Or maybe like this, I'm really disappointed with how this is working out or something.
So what do you think is the difference between expressing disappointment and expressing anger or frustration? What's better about expressing disappointment?
Disappointment. I think disappointment has a stronger emotion. I mean, disappointment expresses stronger feeling, emphasize your anger.
Than just being angry?
Right. What do you think?
I think it's the opposite for me. I think like saying you're disappointed about something is like a softer way of dealing with the problem for me.
Really?
Yeah, that's my feeling. That's my gut feeling. So, for example, if you have a project, let's imagine you have a project and it blows up. It doesn't go well. You could get angry and frustrated and say, this project is junk. It's just crap. Or you could say, I'm really disappointed with how this project is working out. To me, I'm really disappointed sounds more like calm and, I hoped it would go better, but it didn't. So here we are, kind of, shikataganai. Whereas like, I hate this project. That's expressing your anger directly. That's my feeling anyway.
Okay.
That's my impression.
I think probably this is me or Japanese language has this meaning.
Yeah, it might have disappointment might be a stronger emotion. That's true in Japanese.
Like showing disappointment is much more like much more like it has stronger meaning to me.
Okay.
Like
That's interesting. We have a cultural difference here. It shows more like maturity and dealing with the situation better, dealing with the situation in a calmer way to me.
Okay. Yes. But that is just my gut feelings. I don't know other Japanese people.
Well, maybe some of our viewers will tell you.
Yes. So Andrea-san, I have one more question.
Sure.
How can expressing frustration positively impact relationships and communication?
Obviously, it does positively impact communication. We know this from talking with each other. We're from two different cultures, two different languages, two different generations, two different countries. So we have a lot of actually communication problems sometimes. Mm-hmm. We're from different work backgrounds. Also, we have different experiences. So we have a lot of communication errors and miscommunications and breakdowns, actually. But like, when we sit down and we talk about what we think the problem is and why we think that, then we tend to be able to work it out better. We tend to be able to see the other person's point of view. And so in that way, I think it does make better relationships if you can sit down with someone and express your frustration or your disappointment and why. Why do you feel that way? And then you try to find a solution together. Like, let's work around the problem this way, or let's deal with it that way. Then, you've talked with each other. You've strengthened your relationship, and you've found a solution to your problem.
And these kind of situation when you get really frustrated to somebody you work with, it's maybe a good chance to improve your communication skill.
Definitely. Very much. Definitely.
Like Andrea-san said, we got through many difficulties during the pandemic.
Yeah, like business. We had a lot of business discussions and we disagreed often.
Yes. So I found myself when we talked about how we deal with this situation, I didn't, it's again, probably, it's again, lack of my vocabulary. I couldn't explain something better in English. And, you need to require to express all of your detail and then why you came up this idea and how you're gonna do this. Everything you need to lay out. Yeah. To explain well to your teammate or
it's a lot of preparation, like mental preparation for sure. Yeah.
Right.
But it's worth it in the end if you can find a solution together.
True.
I feel like in general, because we deal with language, we need to kind of be good at communication. I feel like we have actually improved our communication style over the last couple of years.
Oh, how so?
Well, just like that, just from sitting down and talking about why, rather than getting angry right away and showing frustration right away, sitting down and discussing why you're upset. I'm upset about this because da-da-da-da. What do you want to do about it? Or do you want to work on this together? Then we've been able to, I think, build a better business relationship.
Yeah, better communication, wouldn't be built in a day.
No.
It might take longer period of time.
Yeah.
I hope this advice help you someday.
Well, not everyone has a business partner, but surely everyone has friendships that they value and they want to, improve, or, everyone has, relationship with a partner or a husband or wife, a girlfriend or boyfriend.
Yes.
These things are also, you can also use these techniques in any kind of situation, I think.
Yes. Okay, Andrea-san, shall we wrap up this episode?
Sure. So today we talked about how to improve your not skills, but kind of, skills to express frustration or anger and how to sit down and have a conversation with someone about your feelings.
That's it for this episode, but don't forget to catch our next one.
This is CrossTalk signing off, bringing you English your way every week.
Keep listening and keep shining.
Bye.
Bye.